stop or give it up. Killing infidels always got it planned. Underhand, give a lie, yell, my, I, whoa! My Sharia. My Sharia. My Sharia.
You know, because this is a 50,000 watt radio station, and because it goes from North Miami, the signal, all the way up to Orlando on the 27th of June, Thursday, 2013, there's a very good chance, like a 90-year-old couple is driving in their car, listening to WNN, and the lady goes, "Hey, Harvey, what are you listening to, Harvey? Huh, Martha? What are they talking about?" Or there's a lovely jihadi couple, you know, on their way to some jihadi meeting, and they go, "Let's try this station," and they hear dun 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 dun, and they probably started having near orgasmic activity going on in their body.
They were probably fearful for their lives.
Yeah, like, oh, what's going on? They know us.
I heard music.
Obama. Oh yeah, the music thing.
Yeah.
That's right. We thought it was talk radio. We thought it was talk radio.
Molten lead poured in my ears.
Yes.
Do you remember that from the other day, folks?
Right.
If you listen to music when you meet Allah,
That's right.
he doesn't go, "Hey, I
It's
was
not
doomed."
going to be good for you.
No, not too good to have molten lead.
Molten lava played.
Lead.
Oh, it's molten lead.
I have molten lead.
Yeah.
I have molten lead in a ping pong ball. It doesn't work. Don't try it at home, kids.
Oh, look at that.
The molten lead victims.
The molten lead crew there on WNN 1470 on a beautiful Thursday afternoon, about 4 minutes after 5 o'clock. As a little kid, guys, I had a chemistry set, and I didn't really follow the directions. I created my own experiments, and one was to melt lead. Actually, lead has a very low boiling point or melting point.
Right.
And so I had this stuff cooking in a spoon or whatever it was on, and I wanted to mold it into a half semicircle deal. So I cut a ping pong ball in half, and I held it with something, and I poured it like this.
It went all over the place.
It just went, phew, you know, and I had goggles on. I was smart enough to do that. And lead all over the place. Not good. Don't do that at home.
Don't do that at home.
Don't try this at home, kids.
And don't do jihad at home. Leave that for the professionals here. What are we doing today? Part 2 of our Civilization Jihad show.
Mm-hmm.
Part 1 was yesterday, Wednesday.
Right.
Can somebody do a quick recap for our good friends out there in
I don't remember what the
radio
recap
land?
is. I am so confused.
That was so long ago.
We did. Okay,
Actually, we had a
Mondays?
very good conversation yesterday, Wednesday, with Billy Vaughn
Right.
to talk about Operation 300 and
Put that up. Let's
the
put that
frog
up.
swim that's happening on Saturday.
The frog swim?
Isn't that what it's called?
The frogs.
Yes, Billy is taking his pet frog, and they're going down to the lake.
Okay, come on.
Frogmen. The frogmen swim.
Came from the
forgot
Frogmen swim.
Frog,
What did I call it?
frog
Frog
swim.
swim.
That's not bad.
Swim.
I mean, that's not bad.
Okay.
You-
I am truly sorry. Absolutely mean no
The-
disrespect
in the
to
Navy,
this event.
The
The frogs.
the term of endearment for Navy SEALs are frogmen because they can operate on land, on a sea, and they can even jump in the air. So the frog was sort of the symbol. So you were close from calling it
Could we
frog.
start over?
Take 2.
But aren't frogs related somehow to John Kerry? The Frenchmen? Aren't the French known as frogs?
They are indeed. That was
Yes.
excellent.
Okay, yes. I
Okay.
worked that
To
in.
do her bone.
Okay,
yeah.
so we did talk with Billy Vaughn about the
Yes.
Frogman Swim and Operation
There
300
it is.
and sending the children to camp, who are
And-
the children
And
of
Tom
fallen
made a generous
warriors,
offer. Tom made a generous offer too.
to sponsor a child to attend the camp through the United West. And
we need help on that one, folks. That's for sure.
And actually, I challenge anybody to our listener audience out there to match our donation to bring a child
Okay, sounds good.
over to the Operation 300 camp and to sponsor a child of a fallen warrior who has no father now, who sacrificed their life for our country, and to give them to participate in the Operation 300 program.
Yep.
And
That sounds good.
yeah.
No. Very, very serious stuff. And that's this Saturday, the 29th. Am I correct?
Yes,
Keep-
in
Yes.
Jensen Beach.
This Saturday,
Florida.
29th, Jensen Beach, Florida. That's a little bit north of West Palm Beach. Mark and I went last year. It's a blast. There were a couple thousand people. Alan West. We videotaped Alan West's tatted up body.
Well, normally
He loves all the sports
I
challenges.
never take photos with like people. It's just something because I don't like bugging them. But when Alan took off he was in his full attire when he had the tattoos all over him. I said, I got to get a picture with this.
I mean, there's some nasty.
And how much did he pay you not to show the picture
There
to
were some
anybody?
nasty army tats. Let me
Yeah,
tell you.
they are. Yeah.
Some of these were like field applied.
Yeah.
Give me one right here from last night.
Semper
We'll put one
Fi.
right here. So he's got some interesting ink indeed, and
Yeah.
he went and he runs daily. All of that. He's in pretty good shape, but it's hard to go in the ocean and swim. And he swam.
It
and
is.
He did the
we
500
won our jacuzzi 500-mile marathon.
Yes, the jacuzzi.
500 milliliter marathon.
500 milliliter marathon. Better.
The
appropriately say.
jacuzzi and Rolling Rock event. We did
Yeah.
very good at that.
Yeah,
And then we
won that.
followed.
I'm a
We
ch- I could be a
followed that
champion.
with.
What?
Said I could be a champion at that.
At
The
that,
jacuzzi
right,
Rolling Rock.
You could.
event.
So go
Okay.
Saturday, folks, operation300.com. All the information. You can go. It costs nothing to go and support a very, very good cause. But what we spoke about, Billy, with yesterday was the reason for Operation 300, the reason for the Frogman Swim.
Frogman.
The Frogman Swim, which is the fact that his son, Aaron Vaughn, was killed 6 August 2011 in Extortion 17, the call name. Again, you guys who follow us, you follow the radio show, the TrentoVision, the United West videos. We did a lot of work on Extortion 17, and we're not done because the Obama administration screwed up and needs to be held accountable for that.
Most
Yes,
definitely.
please.
Please do.
His son died, so it's a memorial, the swim, to his son to raise money for for the children of fallen special operators. But also, it's to recognize that we're at war. As much as President Obama, in his flamboyant naivete, how's that? That's pretty good.
Flamboyant.
Flamboyant naivete.
That's pretty good. Sometimes I surprise myself.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Because he's very flamboyant and he speaks, and you're going, okay, like, give me something. And it's just like,
Well, as
if we love everybody, they'll love us.
And his
right?
either his disconnect from reality or his just outright lying. Either way you want to take it, it's astonishing.
And
his
both
speeches.
occur
I think it's
simultaneously.
both. Yeah, I think it's both.
No, he weaves both together, the naivete and the naivete. So in any event, we're focusing on the jihad. We have men in theater now, and as much as we are calibrating down and pulling out of Afghanistan in 2014,
And as much as we
somebody
gave Iraq to the Iranians,
gave Iraq to the Iranians, somebody has to tell the enemy that we're done fighting.
that we already capitulated, so
Yeah.
you could stop killing us now.
Like the war is over, the war on terror, whatever you want to call it,
You win.
and it's all over. Somebody has to tell them not to attack Americans or American interests anymore.
Right.
Well, that's not going to happen because this war has a unique nature to it. And if you are the recipient or the owner of Sharia, the threat to America, right here, you can understand why this war is going to be 50, 100 years at an aggressive pace. There's a low boil to Islamic jihad for 1,400 years.
Right.
But every once in a while, Allah and Muhammad turn up the gas, and you get a hot boil going on somewhere. Now, many people believe, and I'm inclined and leaning in this direction, that one of these hot boils is going to spill over and maybe do in all of mankind at some point, or good portions of mankind in particular parts of the world. So this is serious stuff. To be asleep at the wheel when the bad guys are aggressively fighting a war is an era, Obama's era.
Right.
So the jihad has to be dealt with. We've got to come up with asymmetric ways and symmetric ways to fight the violent kinetic jihad. But today we're talking about what? What kind of jihad?
Civilization jihad. Stealth. Creepy, crawly jihad. Little nitpicky, getting into you, into
gonna
your
jihad
life
you
all the
from
time
behind.
jihad.
I'm going to jihad you from behind.
Yes.
At 11 minutes after 5 o'clock. Civilization, or as Robert Spencer coined an interesting
Stealth.
term. I used to use stealth quite a bit, but stealth means you don't know what's going on. I mean, these guys are right out in the
They
open.
tell you.
There's
they
no
come
stealth
out and
anymore.
tell you.
You know, it's stealth before your eyes. So I think
Yeah.
a better term is their term, civilization jihad, or our term, cultural jihad. They don't like our culture.
Now, Tom, you said
Yeah.
something very interesting the other night in the Iranian debate when you started talking about you can pretend this stuff is not happening. Go ahead and finish that type of thought.
That's my cue. That's my cue. You can pretend. What did I say? Sometimes I know. Basically, I was debating a rabbi. We're going to show that Friday.
Yes.
We're going to show that Friday. Friday's show will be this debate. I was debating a rabbi that you talk about flamboyant naivete.
Right.
He was dressed all in. You'll see him, Rabbi Loring Frank from Miami.
Nice guy, though. Nice
He's
guy.
a very nice guy, very handsome guy, perfectly tanned, white hair, very, very coiffed. Is it coiffed?
Coiffed.
Is that the term?
Yes.
Coiffed.
Coiffed hair.
Swab and deboner. Yes. he was.
Suave and
I haven't heard that in so long, and it's suave and deboner.
Suave and he had a white shirt on. He had white pants on. He had white shoes on, a Gucci belt. And that's the
He was quite
flamboyance.
styling. He was quite styling.
He was styling. That's the flamboyance. And he had a flamboyant, kind of charismatic personality. And when he opened his mouth, gross naivete came out. Well, he says, I went to the University of Miami. He's in his 60s. I went to the University of Miami in the 70s, back in the 70s. I went to the University of Miami, and I had some friends, Muslim friends, but they were Persians. Then they were lovely people. You know what Persians are, audience? They're Iranians. Iranians are good people. We don't know if they have a bomb. So he goes on in this flamboyant naivete. And then I got up and said, you can make believe that the mullahs are nice people. You can make believe that the ayatollahs haven't called for the obliteration of Israel. You can make believe they didn't hold our 56 hostages for 400. You can make, I went through that whole thing. And that's this administration, sadly.
And on the civilization jihad, it's the same thing. You can make believe that this stuff's not happening. You can think, oh, they're just nice little people, and they're not really holding a fundraiser for Hamas in the mosque in Orlando, Florida. No, even though it's on video and we have it shown, that's not really happening, folks.
Well, let me ask you guys this. It's a beautiful 27th of June. Man, June is flying by. Thursday.
June is gone.
June is going. 14
Mm-hmm.
minutes after 5 o'clock. We have a core of people that listen regularly on WNN 1470. They listen in the mornings to Steve Kane and Brian Craig, 6 to 9. You need to do
And
that.
they listen on TeaPartyCommunity.com.
They are on Tea Party Community.
And on iHeartRadio.
And on iHeartRadio, they're listening.
They've joined Tea Party Community. If you have not joined Tea Party Community and you view yourself as an American patriot, a constitutionalist, you need to get over to teapartycommunity.com. Our very, very dear friend Tim Saletti and a few others, Ken Crow, they run this. It's
The overlords of the system.
the overlords. Yeah, it's an answer to Facebook for conservatives and for libertarians. So go to teapartycommunity.com. Get over there, and you need, by way of housekeeping here, if you're coming to Israel with us,
Oh, yeah.
you got to let us know right away. Tom at TrentoVision.tv. Yesterday I got a call from a good friend. He
Yeah.
says, I will be there. He's going to be in Israel.
Really?
He said, I'm not going to fly with you, but I want to hook up on the ground portion of the trip.
Right.
I said, excellent. So
Is there a first name of this person?
Sergio.
Oh, okay.
Serge.
Yeah, you guys.
Excellent. Yeah,
you know
excellent.
Serge.
I do,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I haven't seen him in years.
No, I know, no. He's very close with Henry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Serge
Oh,
is-
okay.
Yeah, I asked him for money, and then I never heard
What
from
is going
him
on with
again.
Henry? Is he still around? Or?
Yeah, he's down in where he lives and down the south,
Okay.
and he had a couple of little physical things he had to deal with.
Is he coming?
I don't know if he's coming on this trip. I'm checking. But Henry, besides being a pastor, 30 years retired Miami Beach firefighter.
Right.
So he kind of beat up his body a little bit.
Just a little
he's
bit,
retired now. So he had to take care of a few little minor physical things.
Right.
But he's in the fight. And a great guy he is. So Israel trippers, you tripping with us in Israel? Tom at TrentoVision.tv. Got to let us know. We're putting the final pieces together.
Did you
And,
invite your debate rabbi to come with you on the trip and get educated?
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Better idea is to tweet us at The United West. Follow our tweets at The United West. Subscribe at theunitedwest.org, our website. And great stuff coming in the future. But a lot of our work is the question I was going to ask you guys. People are listening to us. We have a core, large group that watch and listen and know about this. But somebody just new to TrentoVision, just new to tuning in
First day listeners, right?
WNN 1470. Why is what we're talking about today, civilization jihad, why should they perk up, listen, and go, oh my God, this affects me personally?
You look at the Qazi brothers down there. The civilization jihad drove them to do what they do in a kinetic fashion. The civilization jihad drives the kinetic jihad. It is the funding, it is the financing, it is the operation behind the end result of what is happening. The whole system actually goes to jihad. The civilization jihad is simply the precursor a lot of times to the kinetic jihad. Like in Boston, you have a mosque up there in Boston, right, Tom? Go ahead and explain what happened in Boston up there.
Well, I'll argue and you answer, and I understand what you're
I
saying.
think there's more to it.
Let me
than
argue
that.
with this.
No, that's
Yeah.
part of
And
it.
then you can
That's-
answer
it's one.
something.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that's everything.
No,
That's
no, no.
one of it.
Yeah.
I'll argue. Okay, so you got this small group of extremists. There's a few of them, and some of them get crazy once in a while. But that stuff doesn't really affect me.
Well, the crazy
No,
one.
well,
never touches my
here's why I think that the civilization jihad is so important and why it does affect everybody in their life is because what it accomplishes is the complete deconstruction of American culture and
Value
values.
system, yeah.
And so if you are raising a family in the United States of America, there is no member of your family who will be unaffected by civilization jihad because it is pervasive at every level of society. It is infiltrated into the public schools. It is infiltrated into the media. It is infiltrated into every level of government, local, county, state, federal. It seeks to stifle and cut off all free speech and dialogue, not just about jihad itself, but once you're not allowed to talk about that, there's a whole list of things that you can't talk about. And then your guns get taken away, and then this gets taken away, that gets taken away. Before you know it, without even a shot being fired, without people getting killed in Boston or in a mall in Minnesota or anywhere else, you have been subdued.
Right.
You have submitted to Islam. Your country, your way of life, it's over. And you cannot escape it in this country.
But then how do you account for brilliant women on The View? You ever see The View?
Oh, I can't.
All right.
How do those
hold on.
brilliant women not get what you just said? They're brilliant. I mean, brilliant. They're brilliant. Barbara Walters and Whoopi Goldberg. They are among the top cultural analysts.
Because they're human beings, and they have their feelings and their perceptions, and they really want to live in Twinkle City. They want the world to be the way they actually feel like they wish that it was, And that's all they're
It's that
able
wishing
to
stuff
see.
again.
It's
And-
wishing and hoping.
It's that hoping stuff, but
And-
but also there's another point just to that is that the people who come into influence Whoopi Goldberg's and the people on The View and the Hollywood left,
Yeah.
they're intentionally doing that to be nice, because if you're going to infiltrate a society, let's say you have a military operation and you want to infiltrate the enemy, are you going to go there with sabers swinging and wearing beards and
Right.
everything?
I come in peace.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
we talked with Clara Lopez, 20 years in the CIA. Says it's a
Yeah.
brilliant influence operation because they go in there with their.
Well, here's where we get to the alliance of the ultra left in this country with the alliance of Islam in this country
Green, red.
together,
Right.
okay, to impose, and both of them love and support totalitarianism. That's what they have in common. And the people who subscribe to this leftist worldview, what they care about is, they don't care about the Constitution. They don't care if people are able to critically think. They don't want people to critically think because they think people are stupid and need to be led by them and only
Right.
think whatever they heard on The View and not challenge or question it. And what do they care about? They don't care about American Judeo-Christian values. They care about recycling and world peace and gay marriage and Bloomberg telling you how much soda you can drink at a time. They like that.
They really do like
They
that.
like that. So if they're aligning themselves with somebody who also doesn't want you to critically think or challenge, that's a perfect marriage for them. And you're the enemy of them.
You're
'Cause
the enemy of them.
You are the enemy of them because
So-
you try to get people to
In a
critically
quick
think.
synopsis, it does. There's a cultural alignment. There's an alignment of just ideologies, and there's an alignment of the people who want to perpetrate this action have actually an ulterior motive to bring down the country.
That's
And
right.
they do it in an intentional means, in an intentional way to influence the operation of our government.
Absolutely.
Thus, civilization jihad.
Thus,
Now we'll read
civilization
from
jihad.
the required reading, folks. Everybody
Required
needs to get a
reading.
copy of Sharia, the Threat to America. You can get it at theunitedwest.org. Go down on the homepage, hit a little button, or go right to Amazon. Sharia with an H, Sharia, the Threat to America. Reading page 83, Civilization Jihad, a term from the Muslim Brotherhood documents. We didn't create the term. Jihad in the form of violent acts, often referred to by some as kinetic. That's the physical component or physical adjective. Kinetic jihad dominates the attention of those responsible for national and homeland security. So we have our intelligence apparatus, our law enforcement, our military. They're concerned about somebody blowing up Times Square or
Right.
Finial Square or Square in Middle America. But the more dangerous threat, especially in the long run, is what the Muslim Brotherhood calls
The civilization.
civilization jihad.
Who called that,
jihad.
Tom? Who was that again? Was it?
The Ikhwan Muslim, Ikhwan Brotherhood Muslim of Muslims.
So not you calling it. This is.
You can go to Ikhwan, I think it's ikhwan.com, or just Google Muslim Brotherhood. They are an organization. They have a supreme guide. They have leaders. They have members. The Muslim Brotherhood is alive and well on planet Earth. They have a beautiful website. And they have a revolving go-to White House free card that gets
That's
them
right.
in and out of the White House whenever they want to be there.
It's ikhwanweb.com.
IkhwanWeb.
So this is just a brand new organization. It just started when Egypt fell,
Yeah.
right, Tom?
Yeah, it started 28 days ago, 28 months ago. Oh, 1928, that's when it started.
Yeah.
1928, as a reaction to the fall of the Ottoman Empire, Istanbul falling, that whole deal in World War.
And
the
they
end of World
aligned
War
with the
One.
Nazis and all that other good stuff.
Yeah.
All that crapola.
Yeah.
According to Sharia, this pre-violent form of jihad, civilization jihad, is considered an integral, even dominant element of jihad that is at least as obligatory for Sharia's adherents as the violent kind.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
And in case you don't know, folks, if you're new to the Muslim Brotherhood, can I read what the credo is of the
Go
Muslim
for
Brotherhood?
it, Mama. This is
Okay.
amazing. Watch this.
The Muslim Brotherhood's credo was and is
Today.
right now.
Back in
Allah
May?
is our objective. The Quran is our law. The Prophet is our leader. Jihad is our way. And death for the sake of Allah is the highest of our aspirations.
You know what really kills me about when she's reading that? I always hear, oh, well, the Muslim Brotherhood, they've moderated
They're
it.
a moderate political.
They've moderated since the
Can you
original
read-
views. That is the same exact wording from the 1928 Muslim Brotherhood as it is today, and they publish it on their website.
You just pulled it off their website?
I just pulled it.
Right now.
Read the motto again. This is and I'm going to comment briefly on each one. First, five
Was
points.
and is. Allah is our objective.
All right, so everything is for Allah's sake. Okay, not too bad. You're God's sake. And most
Okay.
religions do that.
The Quran is our law.
Our
the
law.
Quran is our
That's
law.
Sharia
Yeah,
law.
that means when you say the Quran is your law, that means that the Constitution doesn't apply to you. In case you don't get that connection.
And it means the Quran is our law. We are the chosen by Allah because the Jews and Christians failed. So the Quran is your law too. You just don't get it yet.
you
world.
just
you
you
have to
just don't get
revert
it
back.
yet.
Revert
You have
back,
to revert.
back to
Number
Islam.
3.
The Prophet is our leader, and in case those of you who don't know, the Prophet referred to is Muhammad, whose name you're not allowed to say or draw cartoons of, lest you be under a fatwa for death.
And Muhammad, just like Jesus, was a valiant, victorious, and violent military leader, just like Jesus.
Just like
Just
Jesus.
like Jesus was.
Um,
Yeah, when you think to yourself, what would Jesus do? You could just as easily think to yourself, what would Muhammad
Yeah,
do? And
just
come up with the same answer or
Exactly.
something close to it.
Even when
for sure.
Jesus was Jewish, he wasn't even that violent.
all right, so we got Muhammad as their leader. What's point number 4?
Jihad is our way.
Okay, see,
Jihad.
there's the ball of wax, folks. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, you mean the warm fuzzy jihad, a personal struggle
No,
jihad?
no. Not that I'm going to have the 6-inch sub at Subway and
Jihad.
take a walk every day kind of jihad.
So when you're debating or discussing with Muslims, whether it's a religion of peace and all this stuff, if you go to the core, and every Muslim will believe this same stuff that the Brotherhood has articulated because it's Quranic, jihad is our way. See if they can tell you that this is the warm, fuzzy struggle in life without cracking up, bending over, falling down, laughing, and wetting their pants. I
Right.
mean, the whole context is a bellicose. Their leader, a military leader. And if you don't think that the jihad they're talking about is a violent jihad,
Then
let's
listen to
the
number
last-
5.
look at number 5.
Listen to and
If you were-
here's the thing.
Just in case you were
Just
thinking.
in case you were thinking it was warm and fuzzy, we get to the grand finale, which is death. Death, folks. Death for the sake of Allah is the highest of our aspirations.
And actually, we've had their actual term translated into English, and actually, the death that they're talking about is martyrdom death. I mean,
Yes.
it's a little bit more religiously orientated than just death. It's dying.
The goal is to be a martyr,
goal-
to be a jihad,
to get your 72
shihad.
virgins. To get your 72
a
virgins.
shaheed. Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually do believe the 72 virgin thing. I know it sounds crazy to you,
absolutely
but they do believe it.
So this is the core belief structure of Islamic jihad, of civilization jihad.
And how does that apply to civilization jihad in this country when we're talking about the Muslim Brotherhood? The Muslim Brotherhood isn't just some ruling party now in Egypt. The Muslim Brotherhood isn't just who's infiltrating and threatening, Jordan and Syria and everywhere else. The Muslim Brotherhood spawned a web of groups in the United States, Canada, and Europe who
Right.
are subsidiaries of the Muslim Brotherhood to perform the civilization jihad. When we talk about CARE, Council American Islamic Relations, going after Professor Jonathan Matusitz at University of Central Florida, that is Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, CARE,
And just in case
direct, like grandchild.
Yep.
And just in case you're
Clear as could be.
unfamiliar with that, the FBI actually wiretapped them, where they said that's what they're planning on doing. And later on, the Holy Land Foundation trial said, yeah, they are a front group for Hamas. They
Yeah.
said that in the records, that they are a front group for Hamas. There is no
right,
question.
so here's
about
what
This
we
is
have.
their
Let me
own
sum
words,
this up.
their own records that were seized by the United
so
States
easy.
government, entered into the largest terrorism financing case in this country. It exists. It's real.
And
I'm
I
sorry.
was there.
And
No, and
you
I
were
was
there.
there. This past weekend, I drove around twice the Holy Land
Oh, yeah,
Foundation
sure, that's right,
Mosque
great.
in Richardson, Texas. Different name now. I went around and videotaped it. I can pull the videotape up
So-
right here, right now.
So
You
it's
could
no
run
longer
it
an
in the-
Islamic Center or anything like that.
You could
Tom?
run it in the background and
it's called the
give a
Islamic Center
briefing on it.
of Central or Northern Texas. or
Oh, so it's
something.
still an Islamic Center.
Yeah, and I videotaped it. Videotape expert. You've seen us in all the videos and all that. Videotape experts. I videotaped it as we drove around it. I forgot to hit the on button. So I told the driver, could you go around one
Take
more
two.
time? So we went around the next time, and while we're here, maybe I'll pull up a picture and you can
Yeah.
zoom in. I'll show you the sign out front. But on this 27th day of June, Thursday, Tom Trento, CJ Mark, we are talking about civilization jihad on WNN 1470. And more importantly, we're making a strong argument for you, Mr. and Mrs. Average American, to recognize the importance of what we're talking about and give us a lot of money so we can continue to do this.
You know what?
Yeah, we
Even
just
just
roll
give
it
a
in
little
the-
bit, please.
Yeah.
No, to recognize
Everybody
Securely.
here is a volunteer.
to
Everybody
recognize
here.
the importance of what we're talking about so that you say, hey, I got to do something about this. And if you're interested in doing something about it, send an email, tom@TrentoVision.tv, and say, please send me a free, FREE, copy of Obsession, Radical Islam's War Against the West.
Can you reach
And-
it?
Yes, I can.
There it is.
Do it like
Vanna.
Vanna, yeah. We will send you
Which
for
is better.
free.
That, there you
We'll
go.
send you for free a copy of this 1-hour documentary.
And we
And-
really will because I
Because
just
then
saw
you're gonna be
the work out there.
You're
Yeah.
going to feel so guilty. You're going to want to send us a check. So that's the trick. Okay, we're telling you the whole trick, but it's for free.
Well, some
and
of-
if you want to be a low life and not send us any money when we send you,
You know
free
what?
things,
That's okay.
That's okay.
Just watch it and
Yes.
and have
Then-
your friends and family watch it too. You will not be unaffected by it.
changed our lives dramatically.
Yeah.
We will send you that for free. That's why this is important. And we have 495 days to do something about it.
495 days until November
Fourth, sixth, something.
or
Sixth.
6th.
E-Day. E-Day.
If you're a conservative,
day.
it's the 4th.
Like E-Day.
If you're a Democrat, it's the
if you're
sixth.
anybody else, it's the
It's
6th.
the 6th. Only 495 days to the midterm elections, which are critically important in terms of a third of the Senate revolving, turning over. So a third of the states are going to be voting on new senators. Very important. Congress turning over every 2 years. That's critically important. And the local elections. And we need men and women to get involved in the political process. That's how you do warfare.
At the local level.
In a republic at the local level.
Yeah.
And before, when you read point 5 that we are dedicated to death, that's where analysts get the idea of Islam being a death cult. It's very cultic.
Well, it
in
is.
its
Everything about
following.
it is dead.
Yeah.
And I think of Judaism and Christianity. And look, folks, there's major theological differences between Judaism and Christianity, particularly over who the Messiah is. And nobody makes believe those things don't exist. But at this point, no Jews and Christians are trying to kill each other. And in fact, we don't have mottos that have the major culminating foundational principle being to die. Just the opposite. Christianity and Judaism are belief
Are
systems
life-driven.
of life, of living life to the fullest and talking to other people about life and sharing the beauty of life. And this is why, according to Hassan Mack, and we're going to do an analysis of his debate with Logan, why he said Islam and the West, Judaism, Christianity, are incompatible. He said that.
I agree with him.
Well,
You
who
know, a lot
else
of
said
times
it?
these people don't lie.
This guy said it too. But before we read from this, I gotta read this to everybody. This is amazing. Our book, 19 authors. We've just established that there's a
Who are the 19
civilization.
authors? Who are the 19
Yeah, a
authors?
lot of pretty
Well,
wild
hold
people
on.
here.
R. James Woolsey, the former director of the CIA, General Jerry Boykin, former
Lieutenant
Commander
General Harry Soyster, Defense Intelligence Agency, Christine Brim, Ambassador Henry Cooper, Steve Coughlin,
Andrew
Michael Del
McCarthy,
Rosso,
New York Times best-selling author twice, Grand Jihad, and
John Guandolo, Claire Lopez, Admiral Ace Lyons, Patrick Poole, Joe Schmitz, Mike Waller, Diana West, Jim Woolsey, David Earl Shemy, Tom Trento, Tom Trento, Tom Trento.
So,
All right, now,
this is not some schlubs writing this thing.
no. And the beauty of this is we're all friends, all 19, which is pretty amazing. 'Cause
Yeah.
we don't all agree on
No, you
everything.
guys had some heated arguments.
Got some battles on other issues and all of this, but we are in a colloquy every day, an email colloquy on whatever the issues
That's
are.
another good word, huh?
And I mean, a lot of the stuff I get, my flamboyant brilliance,
Yeah.
I'm copying from the emails that come to me every day. All I do is go,
Oh,
okay.
that's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got my show now.
Is the show, you know? Yeah, I just
Thanks,
you just broke the
everybody.
code. That's the secret to what we do.
That's the
here.
secret to your brilliance.
But listen, flamboyant brilliance.
Flamboyant brilliance. Right.
Listen to this. Official U.S. doctrine. That's very important. Official U.S. doctrine on threat development. We're talking about the military, and the federal law says that threat development, to develop a system to understand the threat of the enemy, threat development requires that threat assessment begin with an unconstrained analysis of the enemy's stated threat doctrine. It is the law in the United States of America that a threat assessment of the enemy begins with an unconstrained, unpolitically correct analysis of the enemy's threat doctrine. If adherents to Sharia have sworn to destroy us, it is their doctrine that we are required to know. Whether that doctrine is judged to be accurate, appropriate, or even identifiable with genuine Islam is wholly irrelevant. If it can be demonstrated that the enemy attacks and kills Americans and seeks to subvert our Constitution, refers to and relies upon doctrines to guide and justify his actions, the enemy, then that is all that matters in terms of the enemy threat doctrine U.S. civilian and military leaders must thoroughly understand and orient upon for the purpose of defeating such foes. It is only in what the military calls the course of action development phase that issues concerning the actual validity of this threat adherence to Islamic law that entails it coming into play. Failing to orient on an enemy's self-identified doctrines not only violates our own doctrine of threat analysis, but renders us unable to defeat the enemy because we have failed to properly identify the enemy. As noted at the beginning of this report, the Sharia report, such failure defies the rules of warfare reaching back to Sun
I was
Tzu
going to say that's Sun Tzu 101 there.
on the requirement to know the enemy. It also completely defiles common sense and canons of professional conduct of our leadership.
It's a misprision
Wow.
of treason if you don't understand. And tell them what you mean by misprision of treason, Tom. You've taught me that term.
This has to sink into everybody. What that just said was we don't have an option. Federal law and common sense dictate if an enemy is killing Americans and saying this is the reason why we're killing them, it doesn't matter if that's a comic book. It doesn't matter if that's something they just wrote up. It doesn't matter if it's a 1,400-year-old religion. That's what we have to orient on in our unconstrained analysis of understanding the threat doctrine of the enemy in order to
Know your enemy.
win the hearts and minds of the enemy.
Kill the enemy. It's
Know
like
your
saying-
enemy and know yourself.
I feel like saying the word BS. This is BS.
It's
Yeah.
beyond. It's
And-
beyond.
And when we say we have to kill the enemy, we have to kill the enemy's ideology. We have to, and this is because when you're in an ideological war, like a civilization jihad, you have to kill that other ideology. Otherwise, it permeates throughout your entire culture. And if you're on the ideological battleground field, you have to fight them in the media. You have to fight them in the public schools. You have
Yeah.
to fight them because that's where they're attacking us. And if you do any Sun Tzu 101 on them, like Tom just did there, It makes such logic sense. Know your enemy and know yourself, and you'll be victorious in all the battles.
Well, let me give you an analogy for this in a family situation. Okay, we're very big in this country for child protection laws and against domestic abuse, and we take that very seriously now where we didn't used to. So supposing you have, little Susie, 6 years old, sitting at the kitchen table, flinging peas at her brother.
Right.
Okay? Father gets furious and beats the heck out of little Susie for fighting with her brother with the peas at the table.
Okay.
So then the police come to take him away, and he goes before the judge and says, and explains why. Well, does it matter what little Susie did? Is there anything that little Susie could have done that would justify her father beating the heck out of her?
Right.
There is no justification, period.
Okay.
So what you're talking about when you're reading that, there is no tipping point, folks. When these guys come after you, it's not because you disrespected their religion or insulted their prophet. It's not because you made a video. It's not because somebody burned a Quran somewhere or sneezed on it without white gloves. You didn't do it. That's what they're born, bred, and taught to do until you stop them. End of story.
And also, real quick, we had a similar problem here in the United States too. It was called the KKK. Did we go out there and lynch and kill all the KKK people? How did we defeat them? We defeated them on the ideological front and said, no, this is an abhorrent ideology it's just completely incompatible with Western society. We fought World War II, but we actually put people on the ground. We could have avoided that, but we didn't. But we can't avoid this next World War III, go out there and kill the ideological enemy which wants to kill us. We have to kill it from within, like we killed the KKK ideology. And it's the same exact ideology.
I heard an interesting comment the other day. Somebody, speaking of world wars, somebody said, I don't know how World War III will be fought, but I do know that World War IV will be fought with sticks
and stones. Yeah, that's a very
good.
old expression.
I thought that was pretty good. But we're in World War III.
We're in it now.
Yeah, Islamic Jihad. Islam has declared war. Enough factions within Islam have declared a holy war on the West. Declared. Osama bin Laden got fatwas to declare a war. Mohammed Badi, the supreme guide of the Muslim Brotherhood, October 2010, declared war on the United States and Israel.
And we gave him
Morsi.
millions of dollars.
Morsi, the current leader of Egypt, go ahead.
So the issue for today, folks, we have 495 days to correct the ship called the USS America. And the way we do that here is to get good people of integrity, quality, strong fiber, and understanding the threat doctrine. Yes, we need people that understand economics, but the threat doctrine of the enemy is to infiltrate, insinuate itself in our institutions, starting at the top, get an influential position, get the ear of, I don't know, the Secretary of State, okay? The other Secretary of State, get the ear of that Secretary of State to smooth out the Islamic issues like Benghazi, that's Umar Abedin and
That's right,
Hillary
and Hillary
Clinton,
Clinton.
to insinuate themselves into Hollywood, MPAC. You don't see movies anymore where Muslim jihadis are bad guys. They're like this neo-modified Nazi creature thing. That
Irish,
are the
IRA,
bad guys. Yeah, that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So civilization jihad means the insinuation of people in influential positions, not just to propagate their particular Republican or Democrat party, with which both stand supposedly on the Constitution, but to undermine completely the United States Constitution in a whole variety of ways.
And freedom of speech.
That's what we're alerting you to, and the importance of this.
And we have a video example of that's happening here with Jonathan Matuzes.
But before we do that, I want to just
going to get to this video eventually.
I know. I want to tell them that the people that are enemy, they follow this leader right here, Syed Qutb. You don't need to know all these things. That's why we make the big dollars, folks. We figure all this stuff out. But Syed Qutb, who, if you go to every jihadi, whether it be the Taliban in Afghanistan or Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula or Hamas in, I don't know, New York City in a CARE headquarters, and you say Syed Qutb, you'll see this.
Ears perking up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like the Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, and George Washington all rolled into one.
And Syed Qutb said, screw America, we're going to kill them all. Okay, that's all we have to know about this.
Yeah, that's the
basically-
synopsis of this
Yeah,
book.
No, it is.
That's the synopsis of the book.
And if you're not in Islam, you're at war.
Yeah.
And
if
we're going to
you're
get
part
you.
of- and
Now, he uses flamboyant words,
yeah.
but we cut to the chase. We give him the
Yeah, basically.
core stuff.
101.
Now, let's illustrate with at least one illustration at 45 minutes past 5 o'clock on Thursday, 27 June. Beautiful 90-degree summer day
Yes, it is.
in Florida. WNN 1470.
It's always
Trento.
90.
It's always 90 degrees in here, I think. Oh, it's 89. Look at that.
Yeah, really.
I thought these guys chilled this place
Yeah,
down.
they chilled it with us.
Too much hot air in here.
Yeah, really.
Part of there's an aggressive civilization jihad using the law, and the Brotherhood said in their documents we will use their law against them. And here's a perfect example of a professor teaching counterterrorism at University of Central Florida and using factual information to in a unconstrained manner, the book said, Sharia,
Right.
analyzing the threat doctrine in an unconstrained manner. That means a non-politically correct.
Right.
Well, Professor Jonathan Massachusetts
Massachusetts.
from Belgium did that, and watch what happened.
A national Islamic rights group filed a complaint against this UCF professor, saying his lectures spark hatred towards Muslims.
Why do so many Muslims, relative to other religions, want to kill us?
Tonight, that professor told us he sees nothing wrong with the way he teaches. Professor Jonathan Massachusetts teaches a class called Terrorism and Communication.
Now the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE, says he makes Islamic societies out to be, quote, hate-filled terrorist factories. Channel 9's Ryan Hughes is live at the UCF campus in Sanford. And Ryan, that group claims this professor also supports an anti-Muslim hate group.
That's right, Marty. It says he is a member of a group called ACT, which is against Muslims, but he told me late today that he has simply spoken to members of that group in the past. This is a copy of a letter sent to the University of Central Florida asking UCF to review this professor's teachings. This University of Central Florida professor rarely holds back in his lectures.
So why? Why do so many Muslims, relative to other religions, want to kill us? The answer is easy. Very easy. 7 letters. Culture.
A video of Dr. Jonathan Massachusetts was posted on YouTube.
Imagine that symbolic interaction is from the cradle until you're an adult. Teaches you to hate.
His strong language is under scrutiny. The Council on American Islamic Relations just sent a letter to UCF that says his teachings include inaccurate information, anti-Muslim bigotry, and hostility in the form of hate speech toward Islam and Muslims.
They've never been in my classes. They don't know the content of my classes.
The professor who teaches terrorism and communication and wrote this book on it told me he backs all his lectures with one thing: statistics.
Islam plays a big role in terrorism, just percentage-wise. I think they're wrong. I think they're afraid of truth tellers, and they want to stifle free speech.
Students we talk to are open to free thoughts and ideas in the classroom.
As long as they're not violating anything, so freedom of speech.
I feel like people definitely do have a right to free speech.
Which is why this professor isn't backing down. Do you stand by everything you say in your classes?
Yeah.
That's such a stupid question.
Why would I make a claim that I don't believe in?
Now, a UCF spokesman told me by email that this professor certainly has the right to free speech, but the university does not necessarily endorse or support his views in the classroom. Live at UCF in Sanford in Seminole County, Ryan Hughes, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
We want to know what you think about this professor's comments. You can join the conversation at facebook.com/WFTV. We've also included a link to the complaint letter sent to UCF, and you can read it for yourself.
Facebook.com/WFTV. It sounded like.
Yeah.
See what you get.
Do you have to be on Facebook to do that?
Yeah. I'll get on it.
What's interesting about this is
Put the camera on you.
We actually know what is actually being endorsed by UCF out there, because we've seen it time and time again. We have the Sinclair vid. We have Siraj Wahhaj vid. We also have out in Orlando, Florida. We also have them supporting money for Hamas, and we also one time we went out there to actually to protest Jamal Badawi. We had that too. I mean, there was so much infiltration inside the university school system that this guy here, he's going to come into a huge firestorm, because he is going against all the political norm in the UCF mentality out there, because they are completely aligned with the Muslim Brotherhood, the Muslim Students Association, and their viewpoint. Time and time again, they bring on the most disgusting people out there to talk to the students, and we can play a video and show it if you want. Here's a 30-second video.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see.
Here's a quick 30-second video of what is actually being promoted. Siraj Wahhaj, 1993 World Trade Center bomber, and here he goes.
Those who commit zina could be fornication, could be adultery. What is the punishment according to the Quran for those who commit fornication? What's the punishment? Lashes, 100 lashes, not stoning.
Now that's what they're promoting out at University of Central Florida. Oh, let's clarify. You shouldn't stone people for having adultery. You should actually only give them 100 lashes. And nobody's outraged at the University of Central Florida. This guy's speaking the truth. This is Imam Siraj Wahhaj. Where was the outrage from CARE on this one? Where was the outrage that CARE came out and says, what are you talking about? The Quran promotes 100 lashes. That's not in the Quran, which it is. Where is CARE's outrage on that one? This is Siraj Wahhaj.
Yeah, well, hold your breath. But, oops. Okay, you need to talk.
Okay. Isn't it also in the Quran that stoning is?
Oh, yeah, it's permissible. It's permissible for gays.
They hang them usually. They don't
they usually hang
stone
them from a crane. That's the more modern approach.
Yeah. And they want to do it in public because they want everybody to see and to be discouraged.
Right. It's all public. The stoning of women happens all the time.
The stoning of women happens all the
acid
time.
on their face happens all the time.
And this is a matter of honor.
Right.
For them.
It's called honor killings.
Honor killings.
And this is not just over there.
This is not us saying this is what they do. This is, when people say, oh, that's not real Islam. No, that is real Islam. And the people who don't do it, they're not really practicing Islam the way that Islamics consider to be valid.
Well, and here's another viewpoint from an Islamic person, at the University of Central Florida, who we captured on tape outside the Siraj Wahhaj event, a guy who lives down here in Boca Raton, Florida.
Okay, the difference is here that's really interesting to me is when you get somebody like Siraj Wahhaj actually saying the truth.
Right.
And he's telling you, he's quoting from the Quran, and he's telling you, this is what it is.
Right.
That's not hate speech. If you get up and say it and you read the same thing and you're not a Muslim, you're guilty of a hate crime.
And picture if you would have said this outside of you would have called for the stoning of women. Mm-hmm. You would have called for the killing of adulterers. Mm-hmm. You would have called for the implementation of Sharia law into the United States. Now, this is a guy who's a longtime supporter of Siraj, his security staff. He grew up with him in the projects. He's one of the quote-unquote rejects from the projects.
Right.
And here, let me play a little 2-minute clip on this thing.
Playing from that one that they were in Chicago.
Okay, well, we play that one, or you want to play the other one with?
You want to play the one with the New York Times guy?
Yeah, we'll play this one, and then I'll cue the other one up.
All right.
Siraj Wahhaj said, listen,
It says if Muslims were more clever politically, they would take over the United States and replace its constitutional government. This is the man you're seeing tonight.
Listen to, I don't have a problem with that.
You don't have a problem with that?
Oh, no, I don't have
So you would like to shoot Sharia law in place of the Constitution?
By all means.
Now, what about this statement? It says,
Wait.
it says right here,
Let's go back to Sharia law.
Okay.
Let's go back to Sharia law.
Let's discuss Sharia.
What is wrong? Don't forget, in this country, in the early, oh gosh, I'm lost for words here. In the early part of this country, when our founding fathers, what we used to do, when people used to lie, what they used to tell them, cut off their tongue. If your eye offend you, pluck out your eye.
That is a biblical verse in the parable. But let me ask you this, though, since you brought up Sharia law. Under Sharia law, the Book of Justice 12:2 calls for stoning of any adulterer.
I don't have a problem with that.
Do you have a problem with killing apostates or stoning apostates?
It all depends on what look here. You have to go to the footnotes on apostate.
Yes.
When apostate turns his back on Islam,
yes, sir,
and become an enemy to Islam, then yes.
You have to kill him?
Yes,
and you would like to see that law in America?
By all means.
And
let me tell you something. Let me say this in reference to
What is your
Sharia
name,
law.
sir? Do you mind me asking? I mean, because we're talking with you. I mean, my name's Randy McDaniel, by the way.
My name is Sinclair.
Sinclair
Hijazi. Let me tell you something about Sharia law.
Yeah, man.
Look at that.
I mean, that's just
University of Central Florida.
Now,
And
they support
that's
that.
okay. They support that.
They support that. That's quite okay to bring in people who...
Well, actually, the university did come out and say at least that the professor has a right to his opinion.
Yeah, read that exact quote.
The quote was, Dr. Massachusetts expressed his opinion, which is his right. He was not speaking on behalf of the university, and we do not endorse his views. Of course, we don't know what his views are. No, I added that. UCF spokesperson Grant Heston said in an email to WFTV.
Okay, so he could talk, but we have nothing to do with it. We don't know what his views are.
We know nothing. We don't want to know.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Meanwhile, P.S., that Stompin' Jesus professor who got a little time off for his behavior, he's back.
He's back. That's at Florida Atlantic University.
Yeah.
The whole Florida school system is
one of the
like
12.
And you know what, folks? Let me tell you something about the Florida school system. It is taxpayer supported. These are not private universities. And when you think that you can't have an influence in what's happening in your community and your state and where your children are sent to be educated, you do. Your taxes pay to run these universities. If you speak up, you can shut it down. And maybe you don't want to get involved in politics or political campaigns or things like that, but maybe you can have an influence in what happens in the universities.
And if you're in the state of Florida and you're struggling with one of these universities, give us a call.
Yeah, we love to.
TrentoVision.
Yeah,
we'd love to go in.
We love to go.
We can help you set the school in the right direction in many respects, or bring us in to be speakers if you're in that sort of situation. So, what have we done over the past 2 days? Summing it up very quickly, we've exposed our audience on a deeper level to jihad, both. Was that 1 minute? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
To jihad. Yeah, this is cool. This new. I got the same thing. To jihad and what the enemy means by that. Muslims who hold to jihad are the enemy of the United States. At least that's what our military used to believe. But we took it a step further. There's the kinetic or violent jihad. We're introducing you in a specific way to cultural jihad, or as the Muslim Brotherhood calls it, civilization jihad. And we just illustrate it with a real-life situation of Professor Jonathan Massachusetts, University of Central Florida, where the guy's teaching about Islam and CARE,
the truth,
part of the civilization jihad infrastructure for the enemy Islam, went after Jonathan. Well, we're going to stand with Jonathan. We're going to go after CARE here in the state of Florida. And we're going to keep you informed, because we need to be battling all the time for free speech. That's what we use as our weapons, free speech. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
Adios.